All right, we are coming on board to the USS Wisconsin. Lots of history here. We'll be going on a top of the world tour. We hope I'll be checking this out. We have a 1 o'clock.
In 5 minutes, there will be a brief on the capabilities of the 16-inch guns located at gun turret 1.5.
So here's Xanthus, right? Xanthus is taller than me. These are the guns. Some of many. Decommissioned ship, right? Check how big that suck. Giant. There's a bridge. Comm center. So we're actually going to go on this. They're actually meeting because we're going to be on here. We're supposed to be going on the ship. We can go clockwise, counterclockwise as we go along on the deck for what's here. So we did also go ahead and take like a picture. You know, when they start tours and stuff at Disney, or like when you're about to get on a roller coaster, we took our picture, but we took our picture with our masks on. So this is very 2020-esque. 2020-esque. Everyone's wearing their, okay. We still have some people not wearing masks. Let me show you. So I guess not everyone's a believer in being safe. Oh, and look, they're all, you know what? It's pretty sweet. Decommissioned ship. There's actually...
welcome. Can everybody hear me? No problem. Pound high explosive round that we use against soft targets. I'll tell more about that in a minute. And a 6-foot tall, 2,700 pound armor piercing round. Armor piercing rounds can penetrate up to 20 feet of concrete or 26 inches of steel before exploding. So we'd use them against other battleships or shore-based bunkers. High explosive round, as I said, is used against soft targets. Best way to explain what a soft target is, you are a soft target. We use them against people. High explosive round, when it hits the ground, will leave a crater 20 feet deep by 50 feet wide. The concussion wave will defoliate every tree within 300 yards. The best part about it is any human being that's standing within 200 yards, the concussion wave will hit you and liquefy your internal organs. Turns you into a water balloon. That way you die from the concussion wave before the shrapnel can even get you. Awesome weapon. During the Gulf War, this ship fired 660 16-inch rounds at Iraqi troops. Needless to say, they did not like this ship. Yeah, now these turrets are pretty interesting pieces of machinery. They're pretty heavy. This gun turret, the face of the gun turret is 17 inches of armor, 9 inches on the sides, 7 inches on the roof, 12 inches on the rear. With that, the weight of the turret, if you take the guns out, so you just weigh the turret without the gun turret weighs 2,100 tons. Put that in perspective. When a capital ship like a battleship or an aircraft carrier is out at sea, we don't operate alone. We'll normally have a couple of destroyers escorting us. They help add anti-aircraft and anti-submarine warfare protection. During World War II, the most common type of destroyer we would have had next to us was a Fletcher-class destroyer. The U.S. Navy made hundreds of them, very successful destroyer. A Fletcher-class destroyer, the entire ship weighs 2,000 tons. The turret weighs 2,100 tons. So each of our turrets weighs more than the ships that we're actually escorting alongside of us. Now these turrets actually sit on a round ring, a barbette. You can see it under turret 1. You can see it much better on turret 2. That round ring is 17 inches of solid armor. It is made that a armor-piercing round from our guns will not penetrate it. That ring for turret 1 and 3 goes down 5 stories. It's 6 stories tall on turret 2. Because the first 2 floors under the gun house right here are the machinery spaces that are used to turn the turret and raise and lower the guns. Then there's 2 floors dedicated to storing the 16-inch projectiles on gun turrets 1 and 3. Gun turrets 1 and 3 can actually carry 271 of these 16-inch rounds. Gun turret 2, since it has 6 stories, has 3 rounds dedicated to storing projectiles. It can carry 390 16-inch rounds. A lot of rounds. Then at the bottom of the turret is the powder flats where we keep the gunpowder. That's what these white bags are right here. Gunpowder is actually stored in these these gold containers. I mean, there's 3 bags per container. Each bag weighs 110 pounds. When we fire the guns, we put a projectile in the gun, then you put 6 bags of gunpowder, 660 pounds of gunpowder behind it, close the breech, and then fire the gun. That gives these guns a range of 26 miles. So basically, from here at Nautica, we can hit North Carolina. So if they ever piss us off. So anyways, and then down in the powder flats, there's actually 8,000 bags of gunpowder under each turret. Now these areas are very, very heavily armored. That was a lesson learned from World War II. If you remember when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, the Arizona took a direct hit and blew in half. That was because the bomb dropped on her, penetrated all the way down and took out her powder magazine. That's why the Arizona blew up. Also, when the British battleship Bismarck sank the German battleship Bismarck sank the British battleship Hood, HMS Hood, she blew up and only 3 sailors survived. It's because the Bismarck's round went into the powder mag, blew the ship right in half, and only 3 sailors survived. Over 2,000 died. Ours are heavily protected. Now with this, the manning of these turrets, these guys are really efficient. Even though this stuff weighs a ton, they're very efficient. They can reload each gun in 30 seconds. So we have the capability of firing 18 rounds a minute off of this ship. The reason they can do that, gun turret 1 and 3, there's 77 men in them. There's 92 men in gun turret 2. Inside these turrets, there's 3 complete gun crews. You have 3 crews up here in the turret, 1 per gun to load. Down in the projectile rings, there's 3 crews, 1 for each. Each of them has a hoist that's bringing a shell up to each of the guns individually. Then there's 3 crews in the powder magazines set with an elevator that can take 6 bags at a time up to each gun individually. So you have 3 complete crews. That's why they can reload in 30 seconds. It's pretty impressive. Any questions so far? All right, talk a little bit about something I like to talk about. Talk a little bit about nuclear weapons for a minute. How's that? First of all, if you ask anybody in the Navy if there's nuclear weapons on board their ship, the answer you will get is I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of nuclear weapons on board any naval vessel. Well, I'm retired and the ship is owned by the city of Norfolk. So, with that being said, let's go back in history. 1953. 1953, we're in the middle of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. The United States Army actually developed a nuclear artillery shell. They developed a couple of them, but the most prolific they developed was a 6-inch artillery shell. It was fired by a gun called Atomic Annie. When it blew up, it took about a 1 or 2 square mile area would be taken out by. It was a small yield device. The warhead was the W-19. They were considered tactical battlefield devices that if you used them, it wasn't considered nuclear war. And because of that, we had thousands of them stationed in Europe, and then Russia had thousands behind the Iron Curtain. So we could have taken out all of Europe and all the satellite countries of the Soviet Union with nuclear artillery shells, and it wouldn't be nuclear war. Now, so the Army develops a nuclear artillery shell. Well, the Navy, we can't be outdone by the Army, right? Go Navy, beat Army. And it's like, hey, here's this cute 6-inch shell. Well, guess what? We got the largest artillery in the United States inventory. We got 16-inch shells. So the Navy embarked on what was called Project Katy. Project Katy was the development of a 16-inch nuclear artillery shell, which we did build. These were developed by the Los Alamos Nuclear Laboratories, and you can actually Google it and see a photograph of these shells, because the Los Alamos Nuclear Laboratories, they built a lot of really funky stuff in their day, but they have a nuclear museum, and they actually have one of the shells in their museum because it was the largest nuclear artillery shell ever built in the world. So the Los Alamos Laboratories, they actually built 50 of these shells. Gun turret 3, since it has 3 rings for projectiles, the lower 3rd ring, the most heavily protected, has been modified to carry 10 rounds. 4 battleships, we could put 40 shells out to sea plus 10 spares, like we really needed 10 spares. Now these shells, the W-23 was the name of the warhead, these had a variable strength atomic warhead. They started at 15 megatons, and you could vary it up to 20 megatons. To put that in perspective, 15 megatons, the base explosion for these shells, that's the same size as the bomb we dropped on Hiroshima. And then they got bigger, so you could vary it from 15 all the way up to 20 kilotons.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, and follow us. Let us know that you really like it and leave us a comment. We'll be showing you the rest of the ship walkthrough in our next video.